You know, that persistent nagging hip pain, it can be more than just an annoyance, right? It can really start to change your day-to-day life. It's a super common issue, but it's also one that a lot of people don't fully understand. So today, we're going to clear things up.
But first, let me just throw a bit of a curveball at you. What if I told you that nagging pain you're feeling in your knee might have nothing to do with your knee at all?
It's true. This is one of the classic, but so often missed, signs of hip osteoarthritis. The pain can actually start up in your groin or your thigh and travel all the way down to the knee. It's a great pretender, completely fooling you about where the real problem is.
So that's exactly what we're going to dive into. We're going to take a look inside an arthritic hip, figure out how to spot the signs, and then, and this is the most important part, we'll lay out a real evidence-based action plan for you to take back control. Okay, first things first. Let's get under the hood and understand what's actually happening inside that hip joint that's causing all this trouble.
So, at its heart, osteoarthritis is a long-term thing. The absolute best way to picture it is to think about the tread on a car tire wearing down over time. In your hip, you have this smooth cushion called cartilage, and with osteoarthritis, it starts to break down. As it wears away, that space inside the joint gets smaller, and that's what leads to that pain, that stiffness, and that feeling that you just can't move like you used to.
And wow, this side-by-side really tells the whole story, doesn't it? On the left, you see that beautiful, healthy hip with thick, smooth cartilage and lots of space. But then you look to the right, and you see the reality of an arthritic hip. The cartilage is worn down, that joint space has narrowed, and you can even get these little bony spurs forming. That's where all that friction and pain comes from.
And look, if any of this is starting to sound a little too familiar, I want you to know you are so far from alone. Just in the UK, we're talking about 8.5 million people who are dealing with painful joints because of osteoarthritis. This is an incredibly common condition.
So, how can you know if this is what you're actually dealing with? Let's talk about the specific signs to watch for and who might be most at risk.
Okay, so beyond that tricky knee pain we mentioned, the classic symptoms are a deep ache in the groin or the side of the hip, and then there's that morning stiffness, where you feel like the Tin Man for a little while, but it usually eases up within an hour. Some people also talk about a locking or grinding feeling, and you might just notice that simple things like getting out of a low chair or out of the car are suddenly a real struggle.
So, who's most likely to get this? Well, age is definitely the #1 factor. It's just more common as we get older. If you've had a previous injury to that hip, well, that can definitely set the stage for issues down the road. Family history can also play a part, and for a few reasons, it does tend to be a bit more common in women.
All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the most important part. What can you actually do about it? This is your toolkit for managing your symptoms.
A really effective plan to manage hip OA is built on 4 solid pillars. It all starts with education, just understanding what's going on. Then, we add in the right kinds of exercise and movement, some smart lifestyle changes, and finally, strategies for pain management.
And please, do not sleep on that first pillar. There's amazing research showing that patient education, simply learning about your condition and how to manage it yourself, can give you, on average, 20% more pain relief than just taking anti-inflammatory pills alone. Knowledge is literally power here.
So that brings us right to pillar number 2, exercise, starting with flexibility. Now the goal here isn't to become a gymnast, it's just about maintaining the motion you have, to keep that cartilage healthy. We're talking about gentle, controlled movements, simple stretches for the muscles at the front and inside of your thigh.
Next up is strengthening. And this is a game changer. When you build up the muscles around your hip, you're basically creating a natural brace for the joint. It's like building scaffolding to support a building. And those muscles on the outside of your hip, they are absolutely crucial for giving you stability when you walk.
And the final piece of our exercise puzzle is endurance. This is all about your overall health. Low-impact activities like walking or getting in a pool for some water therapy are fantastic. They get your heart rate up without hammering on the joint. Aiming for about 20 to 30 minutes, maybe 3 times a week, is a perfect goal to shoot for.
But here's the big question. How do you know if you're pushing too hard? Well, that's where this simple tool, the Pain Activity Ladder, comes in. It's so easy. If your pain is anywhere from a 0 to a 3, you're in the green zone. Go for it. If it starts to climb to a 4 or 5, that's your amber or caution zone. Time to ease up a bit. And anything from a 6 on up, that's the red zone. That means stop. The activity is just too much for your hip right now.
Okay, on to our third pillar. These are the smart lifestyle adaptations. These little things can make a massive difference. Good supportive shoes with shock absorption are non-negotiable. Try to avoid those super low, squishy chairs that are a nightmare to get out of. Oh, and here's a great tip. If you use a cane, always hold it in the hand opposite your painful hip. And at night, just sticking a pillow between your knees can make you so much more comfortable.
So let's bring all of this together and talk about what it means to move forward with confidence and really live well, even with hip OA.
Now, I want to be really upfront. There is no magic cure for osteoarthritis. But, and this is a really big but, the symptoms are absolutely 100% manageable. You do not have to just accept this as your new normal.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. As the NHS puts it so perfectly, the good news is that these strategies can be really effective.
So, here's the bottom line. The most important thing I want you to take away from all this. You are in the driver's seat. By taking these proactive steps, with education, the right exercise, and smart lifestyle changes, you have the power to manage your pain and seriously improve your quality of life.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. After hearing all this, what's one small, totally doable change you can make today to start improving your joint health?